Okay, so this is Biorelativity for North America. The date today is July 8th, 2025. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Greetings, I am Giuliano. We are the Arcturians. During a mass extinction event, which is what is now occurring on the Earth, there is a phenomenon that I describe as the cascading effect. Cascading means that several problems and issues go on top of each other and are accelerating, so that one problem, for example, negativity in leadership or problems in a particular section of the biosphere, such as in the forest, create other problems and they cascade, and soon you have a situation where several small but serious problems contribute to this cascading effect, where it seems like things related to the biosphere are out of control. This certainly presents a challenge to the planetary healers like yourselves. And you might feel like you are posting band-aids on different aspects of the biosphere in order to prevent the bleeding of energy that seems to be multiplying. And you might also ask yourself, is there a way to go to the source of the imbalances, to the source of the different cascading problems, as opposed to trying to put band-aids or fix so many individual problems? And the truth is that both approaches are necessary. That is, the band-aid approach, where you want to the best of your ability as a planetary healer, work to fix a broken or breaking part of the biosphere. But at the same time, you ask the question and you look for the source of the imbalance. And then once you find the source of the imbalance, then you ask the question, is there a way to correct the source? And then these multiple imbalances would fall into place and be healed. Now, this is an ideal approach to planetary healing. Some might say that this is an optimistic approach. But you will agree that from the most logical standpoint, this would be the most effective approach to work with the source and then watch things fall into place. And then you might ask the follow-up question, what if the source of the problem does not want to be changed? Or what if there is resistance to the change? I've often said that, along with other famous thinkers, that the biggest issue in planetary change is resistance. Because even if there is obvious imbalances, those in power and those who control these issues are resisting shifting or changing for a variety of reasons. Sometimes there is simply denial. Sometimes there is self-interest. And at other times it just has to do with what I call lower thinking. And you and I together have focused many of our meditation efforts on raising the vibration of the planet, raising the evolutionary energies of Homo sapien, and finally calling on and activating a external event, a first contact event that would immediately shift the consciousness of the planet. Because in the cascading effect, a dramatic shift is necessary. So let's keep this in mind as we do our planetary healing meditation today. Take 3 deep breaths. And go into a state of physical relaxation. And go into a state of spiritual relaxation. Feel the spiritual molecules in your pineal gland activate and open as you go into an altered and higher state of consciousness. And I, Giuliano, in my starship Athena, which is in the interdimensional corridors known as the Jupiter corridor, send down a corridor of light, corridors of light from my starship Athena to each of you who are listening or reading the words of this meditation. And receive the corridor of light over your room. And immediately as the corridor of light comes into your room, you feel an upliftment of your own energy field. For certainly, as you are personally affected by these cascading effects, part of you may feel like your energy is also being depleted, that your energy is being lowered. Even though you are a starseed and even though you are focused on higher consciousness, you still are vulnerable to the intense mass extinction energy that is cascading around the earth now. Allow your spirit body to rise up through your physical body and through your crown chakra. And enter now the corridor of light from which you came, which is connected to my starship Athena, and which is around your room. And as you enter that corridor of light, travel now at the speed of thought to my starship Athena. We arrive now at my starship Athena, and you enter through the portal entry into my fifth dimensional starship and feel another upliftment of energy, where you are in a special fifth dimensional corridor on my starship that we have prepared for you. And you walk down the hallway to the Gaia Planetary healing room. And you enter the room and you see the holographic image of the Gaia, and you see the focus on North America zoomed in. Take a seat around there, and we will begin our meditation by first listing a series of imbalances, and we will meditate on creating balances on what I call the cascading effect, and then focus on a secondary, more powerful meditation to work on the source of unification. So some of the imbalances that we see in North America have to do with the lower vibration of leadership, lack of spiritual focus, lack of spiritual unity, lack of understanding that Gaia is a living spiritual planet and must be dealt with and interacted with a certain higher respect. We see a second problem having to do with what some call geoengineering and the tampering of weather patterns, some of which are related to chemtrails, 5D, the internet and other electromagnetic devices. And we see the dramatic effects of the imbalance of weather patterns in Texas, where there has been devastating flooding and great loss of life. And we see the forests throughout the Southwest and in many other parts of the United States that are so fragile and vulnerable from the heat and from diseases that are related to the imbalances. Some are related to fungus that are able to take advantage of the vulnerability of the weakness of the trees. And we also see again the heat wave, another source of imbalance throughout the Southwest and through the Midwest and also the eastern part of the United States, Canada, and Mexico. These are just a few of what I call the cascading imbalances that are surprisingly related. And as I said, they interact with each other and seem to increase their intensity. A huge white screen appears over the holographic image of North America in the Gaia Planetary chamber, and let us emblazon the words, bring these many imbalances that we have focused on into a higher unity and balance for planetary healing. Focus on that thought and on that meditation as we go into silence. Remember, focus on the words of bringing the many cascading symptoms back into balance. The thoughts and the meditations are emblazoned on the white screen, and the meditation and thoughts encompasses the issues that we have focused on. And now, the white screen with these thought powers are downloaded into the Gaia feedback loop system now. The Gaia and the feedback loop system receive the energy and your optimistic and higher thought powers. And now we will focus on the issue that I've said is the source, which is the lower spiritual energy, the lower spiritual light quotient of North America, the lower spiritual light quotient that is permeating North America and permeating those who seem to be in charge of what is leading to some of these imbalances. And let us focus on the higher evolution that we know as Homo Omega. And let us focus and request that the spontaneous evolutionary leap occurs throughout North America. And not only does the spontaneous evolutionary occur, but that spontaneous evolutionary leap occurs in a way that brings more personal power for change to those who are upgrading themselves towards the new Homo Omega frequency. So see the words, let the spontaneous evolutionary leap upgrade those to Homo Omega, who then gather the personal power to make the higher changes necessary for a new planetary balance of higher light. Let us go back into meditation with that thought. This beautiful thought of higher evolutionary shift is now filling the white screen and is downloaded now into the Gaia feedback loop system. An upliftment shall occur for the greatest good of all in North America, creating a new spiritual light, ushering in Homo Omega. It is time now to leave the Gaia Planetary Healing Chamber. Feel the love and light we have created for Gaia, and feel the higher frequencies of our thought patterns and the upliftment that they will create for the planet. We leave the healing chamber, walk down the hallway, and you enter the corridor of light from which you came, leaving the starship Athena, traveling now at the speed of thought through the corridor of light, back into the room from which you came, and re-enter now in perfect alignment your physical body, bringing with you a higher spark, a higher motivation for planetary healing and for bringing the light of Homo Omega and higher evolutionary thinking to this planet. I am Giuliano. Good day.